What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Lean Athlete Lifestyle Show. It is your host, Jared Sweity. I'm your coach and your host. So let's get things going here. It is day 26 of 100 podcasts in 100 days. So we are past a quarter way. Really excited about what else we can pull with these 100 days. And I'm excited to bring you more and more and more to your fitness goals. So that's one of my main focuses and main keys of operation here for doing these. So today's topic, we're going to talk right about hormone and weight loss. We're going to be unraveling the connection between that. All right. So introduction, we're going to talk a little bit about the episode. Like I said, hormones and weight loss. We're going to be mentioning the, how hormones affect our ability to lose weight. Okay. A little adjustment here. There we go. Good. So let's talk about the hormonal players, what we got to work with here. So the main ones we're going to be talking today about is going to be, for weight regulation, insulin, leptin, ghrelin, and cortisol. Okay, I love talking about cortisol because that's one of the biggest topics for ones where it's like you're stressed and it causes it, but that could be normal for sure. So let's just ride right on to this whole deal, explaining them all kind of more in depth. Insulin is the one that can control more so. It can actually control almost all your macronutrients, but your blood glucose levels. What it can do is it can act as either it's going to be storing the food that it has as fat, or kind of using it as energy. It's kind of like, a traffic cop acting as such, and it's going to be bringing the fat to either a storage place where it's just going to be, stored for quick energy slower energy, or it's going to be play the role as energy use, right? Leptin is kind of more of like keeping you satiated or satisfied. That's the hormone it's going to be referred to as. It basically sends a signal to your brain when you're full. Ghrelin is the hunger hormone. It signals to you when you are hungry. So we'll talk a bit about that later on. And cortisol is going to be more of the stress hormone, produced by your adrenal glands. And there's lots of other hormones we could be talking about, but these are the ones that really do control a big part of weight loss. Okay, so stay with me here. We're going to get to more details of this as well. Okay, cortisol is actually one of them that can really influence weight by promoting the storage of fat, especially in the abdominal area. So if you find you're very, very stressed, sometimes that can be an area where it just stores and holds, and it could be inflamed. But I would talk to your doctor about that if you do find that you're doing everything you can. You need to reduce that. When you're under chronic stress, managing stress through relaxation techniques and exercise can help with cortisol levels. So bringing down your stress levels if you have too much on your plate, bringing that down a lot will help you with your weight loss journey, if that is possible for you. All right. Next up here, we're just going to be talking a little bit about insulin. So hunger, when it comes to that, basically, with all the hormones we're talking about, we're going to talk about hunger, and then we're going to talk a little bit about metabolism, and then for part of it, fat storage. Okay, so hunger, insulin indirectly affects hunger. Okay, so it's not directly correlated with that. It's going to be something that's going to be underlying in that area. So after a meal, it helps lower blood sugar levels, reducing feelings of hunger. However, high insulin levels from consuming too many carbohydrates can lead to rapid blood sugar drops, causing hunger shortly after eating. So that's why if you have like processed foods, or if you have foods that are higher in sugar, sometimes you can feel pretty hungry right after that. It's all fun. It's all done. Then we got metabolism. So insulin plays a significant role in the metabolism by facilitating uptake of glucose into the cells for energy. Right? So it can lead to insulin resistance, slowing metabolism, and promoting fat storage. Now we're talking a little bit about leptin. So leptin, again, is the one that's going to signal that you are full for the most part. So that's going to be a good one. So it increases, hunger increases as food intake increases. So its level rises before or after eating, right? Ghrelin may, so ghrelin is more the hunger one, sorry. So leptin signals that you are full. Okay, let's dive a bit deeper into this. So I just made some notes here. I just want to make sure I'm covering pretty much everything. So here's some good points for insulin. Like I said, it's like a traffic cop stopping you or directing traffic for your blood. After you eat it, it helps sugar go to these cells for energy. But if you eat lots of sugary stuff all the time, like we're talking not balanced, it's like the traffic cop it's too overwhelmed, so it gets overrun. And then you might feel hungry again right afterwards because you got no control. Insulin, for the metabolism, it helps your body use sugar for energy. But if there's too much sugar, it can slow down your metabolism. Just a hair. Leptin is your body's fullness alarm. When you eat, your fat cells release leptin, telling your brain that you are full. Stop, or as they say in Arabic, khalas, finish. But if you don't have enough leptin, your brain may not get the message, and you might still feel hungry. When you have enough leptin, it tells your body not to store too much fat. When you have enough of it. Ghrelin, it's signaling when it's time to eat. Lets you know when you're hungry. It can be the brake on your metabolism, slowing it down when you're not eating enough. So if you aren't eating enough calories, then what can happen is you can actually be a little bit more on the side of things are slowed down. So you may need to eat a little bit more. Could be also due to lack of sleep as well, which could cause a lot of your hormones to be out of whack as well. So ghrelin makes you hungry. Eating too much can lead to fat storage. Cortisol is your stress hormone. Can make you crave comfort foods when you're stressed. That's one of the big ones there, like reaching for a bag of chips when you're worried about something or you're just a little bit anxious. For your metabolism, when it comes to cortisol, it can temporarily speed up your metabolism when you're stressed. But if you're always stressed, it can mess with your metabolism and making you store fat, almost going into fight or flight mode, sticking and holding on to everything that it can. Cortisol can tell your body to store fat, especially around your belly when you're under chronic stress. Okay, we're going to dive a bit deeper into insulin's roles in weight management. So it's basically your blood sugar manager. Imagine insulin as a manager and of the sugar in your body. The sugar called glucose comes from the food you eat, especially carbohydrates like foods like pastas and sweets. Okay, so how it works, I'm just going to make sure I got these notes right for y'all. After you eat, your body breaks down all the food into glucose, which will go into your bloodstream, sometimes at different rates. Where insulin steps in, it's like a key that unlocks your body's cells to let glucose inside. Cells use this glucose for energy. You can actually get your insulin levels spiked up with whey protein as well. So that's one thing to keep in mind. That is not just from carbohydrates, but it acts a little bit differently. Protein won't necessarily store that as fat. When there's a lot of glucose, insulin opens up the doors wide and lets it in very, very rapidly. So like high fructose, simple carbohydrates will let it in quick. But if there's too much glucose, often your cells get overwhelmed and they start, saying we don't need more energy right now. So they resist insulin. Insulin's key. What's called insulin resistance. Insulin and weight, so fat storage. If your cells resist insulin, your body thinks we have too much sugar in the blood. And we better store it for later. But where do you store it? It's going to be stored as fat. So high insulin levels can lead to fat storage. And that usually just leads to having too much sugars, too much carbohydrates. Carbs aren't bad necessarily speaking, but they can lead to one of the first things that leads to fat gain, especially when you're eating a lot of sugary and starchy foods. Exactly. So hunger, when your blood sugar level drops after a sugary meal, you might feel hungry again very soon afterwards because it just spikes it right up. You got to bring it back down. That's because insulin's job, if it did its job well, and the cells took all the glucose, leaving you with a low blood sugar level. So how do you balance this out? Eating enough protein, carbs, and fats throughout the day, making it kind of more balanced. It's a really good approach to that. Like I said, having too much starchy and sugary foods can lead to insulin resistance, which is not super helpful. Oh yeah, I gotta check back there. I got a new flower. Exciting. I love getting new plants. My green thumb isn't the greatest, but we'll see how long this lasts. I think it's supposed to last like 2 weeks, so we'll see. Anyways, exercise. So physical activity helps cells become more sensitive to insulin, making it easier for glucose to enter and be used for energy. Stress control. So high stress levels can make your cells very resistant to insulin. Relaxation techniques can be a good help with that. Deep breathing, meditation, going to bed on time. Regular eating, so avoid longer gaps in between meals, can sometimes regulate that, but not all the time. Okay, carbs is your body's energy source, right? So carbs are basically fuel for your body for quick energy. Fat can also play that role as well, hence, the keto diet. They come from foods like breads, pastas, rice, fruits, and sweets. When you eat carbs, your body turns them into sugar, no matter what it is, even if it doesn't taste sweet. If it's a carbohydrate, everything has carbohydrates, technically speaking, but if it has a higher percentage of carbohydrates, then that's when it will turn into sugar. But it breaks it down into something called glucose, which uses it for energy. And you can actually store that in your muscles as glycogen. And from the sweets, you can store that mostly in your liver. So how carbs impact insulin and blood sugar. When you eat carbs, especially simple ones, like the sugary ones, the fruits, the jams, sodas, all that kind of stuff, it quickly breaks down it into your stomach as glucose. This glucose will enter your bloodstream, causing your blood sugar levels to rise up quickly. In response, your body's insulin is like the traffic cop. It kicks in, and it's just like, hey, we've got extra sugar here. Let's get into the extra cells for energy. Insulin opens the doors to your cells, so glucose can have quick energy here. Okay, so complex carbs can be a smoother ride for your insulin levels, and it can just go in at a nice steady rate. It's nothing too rapid, which is always nice. We want a balanced approach to it, balancing carbs for health. So it's good to have a mixture of both, like whole grains for your carbs. Of course, you can have those sweets and candies, absolutely. Choose complex carbs, like I said. That's going to be helpful for regulating your hormone levels, especially with insulin. Opt for whole grains like brown rice, quinoa, oats, whole wheat bread. If you are on the ketogenic diet, you can aim for things that are more fibrous, like vegetables, fibrous vegetables like that. Broccoli, spinach, broccolini, asparagus, those sorts of things will help. Peppers. These release glucose very slowly, so preventing rapid blood sugar level rises, which can be a good thing, right? So include plenty of, fiber-rich vegetables like I talked about, beans, lentils, edamame, huge amount of fiber in there, with their skin on it for your fruits, because that will have lots of fiber. Balanced meals. So diet include protein sources like lean meats, poultry, fish, tofu, beans in your meals. Protein slows down the digestion of carbs, preventing quick spikes. And it also burns more calories as you eat it. So a better bang for your buck sometimes. So try to eat regular balanced meals, avoid skipping meals if possible. But sometimes we get busy and that is fine. But your body kind of has like a signal. It's almost like if you have a pet dog or cat, it's going to remind you, hey, it's time to eat. Kind of the same thing with your hormones, but just won't be as like in your face about it. It might be subtle, but sometimes it can be kind of angry. It can get hangry, for lack of a better term. Healthy fats, avocados, nuts, seeds, olive oil. These fats can stabilize blood sugar levels quite a lot, make you feel full and stable, right? So limit saturated and trans fats, fried foods and processed foods if you can, as they can worsen insulin resistance. A lot of foods are processed, like technically speaking, if you buy food that's like chopped up, technically that's already processed. But if it doesn't have much nutrient value, then like more fast food type of food, then that might be your issue. So keep that in mind. Portion sizes are important. Snack smart, stay hydrated, exercise regularly, manage your stress, get adequate sleep, monitor and adjust as you go along. Okay? So the relationship between stress, cortisol, and weight gain. Ooh, it's a big one. Stress and cortisol, your body's response. So stress in your body's, it's basically your reaction to challenges that come up, whether they're physical, emotional, or psychological. When you counter stress, your body releases a hormone called cortisol, right? Think of cortisol as your fight or flight. It's designed to help you handle stress by providing extra energy. Give you that extra energy because you're stressing out. How stress and cortisol influence weight gain. So increased appetite, you get more hungry as you increase stress. Your appetite goes up. Remember, your metabolism speeds up. So that leads to being more hungry. I saw a cool video the other day of a hummingbird, and the hummingbird was like, essentially it had a crazy metabolism. It didn't eat for, I don't know how often. It had to eat like for 16 hours of the day or something like that at a time. It could have a chance to die, but it was just constantly eating. So the metabolism's higher, you feel hungrier because it's just going and burning through you. So it's preparing your body for a potential threat, essentially. Yeah, modern times lead to overeating. Okay, so there's just an old, there's just like an old school ancient time thing that came up here. Fat storage. So cortisol can encourage your body to store fat, especially like I said, around the abdomen. This is called the stress belly. High cortisol levels can lead to the accumulation of visceral fat, which we don't want, which is linked to some health problems because it like blocks a few things from coming in, and it can also restrict blood flow a little bit as well. So it's never that good to have it. Sorry, neck's a little sore. Got to do a little mobility. Stress could trigger cravings for comfort food like pizza and ice cream and chips. You more like, high carb, high fat foods. The more unhealthy, the more comfort you feel, right? These foods can temporarily relieve stress and often lead to weight gain if consumed excessively. So when it comes to insulin resistance prolonged stress can contribute to insulin resistance, making it harder for your body to regulate blood sugar, essentially. This can lead to higher insulin levels, which, as we discussed earlier, can promote fat storage. Okay, let's break down the cycle. So managing stress for weight control. So stress reduction, find effective ways for managing your stress. This is super crucial. Maybe go to a Nordic spa. If that's not available or if it's too much, then you can always do other options here. This can include activities like yoga, meditation, deep breathing. Simply spend some time doing things you enjoy. Regular exercise. This will definitely help regulate a lot of your stress because it is a form of controlled stress as opposed to your out of control stress that makes you feel this way. Okay? Healthy eating can always help. Sleep, if you prioritize that, it can increase, lack of sleep can increase your stress and cortisol levels at the same time. Okay? We don't want both of those acting up. Reach out to myself, reach out to professional help, therapist, friend, family member, anyone who you trust when dealing with chronic stress. Okay, cortisol overload. I'll go through this just briefly here. We'll talk about sex hormones too, because that's always a big topic. So chronic stress can lead to a continuous release of cortisol, the stress hormone, essentially. When cortisol is basically, it's essential for short-term stress responses. Constant high levels can disrupt your body's natural rhythm, like putting your gas in the gas pedal for way too long. It'll run out of gas, essentially. I'm going to cover a bit of the sex hormones talk here as well. So chronic stress can interfere with sex hormones like estrogen and testosterone. In women, it can lead to irregular periods, while in men, it can affect fertility and libido. So breathe easy, my gentlemen and my ladies. Breathe easy. The vicious cycle of stress begets more stress. Okay, so chronic stress can lead to a vicious cycle. Hormone changes it triggers can lead to more stress and in turn worsens the hormonal imbalance. Like we talked about before, seek help. Proper exercise will definitely help with that as well. Okay, so we talked a lot about the different ways in which you can help it. But yeah, we talked about the sex hormone as well. Let's see, is there a note in here that talks about weight loss when it comes to sex hormones? So imbalance in sex hormones such as estrogen and testosterone can affect the body composition. In women, conditions like PCOS, basically it's like an ovary syndrome, can lead to weight gain. While in men, low testosterone levels can contribute to increased fat storage. That's why I like to get blood work done every 6 months just to see where my testosterone levels are at. Very, very important. So insulin resistance, high levels of insulin resistance can occur due to various factors. So including genetics and a diet high in refined carbs can be a big factor. So those hormones can definitely affect that. When they don't efficiently allow glucose in, leading to higher blood sugar levels, your body's response by storing excess sugar as fat, making it harder to shed those pounds. So it's just all about balance when it comes to carbohydrates. Finding foods that are lower in the GI index or glycemic index can be a big help as well for regulating your blood sugar levels, spiking and coming into a slower rate. Leptin resistance. Leptin is the hormone that tells your brain when you're full. When you're leptin resistant, your brain doesn't get the message and you continue to feel hungry even when you've just eaten. It happens. Cortisol and stress. Chronic stress can elevate your cortisol levels, right? Which over time can lead to increased appetite, especially for comfort foods, right? And it stores around the abdomen, of course. Thyroid dysfunction. The thyroid gland controls metabolism if it's underactive, hypothyroidism. Hyper is the opposite, where it's fast. Hypo is the opposite, it's where it's slow. Your metabolism slows down, making it challenging to burn calories. Weight loss struggle. So when these hormones are imbalanced, it's like the perfect storm for weight loss resistance. Increased appetite, slower metabolism, and fat storage, essentially. So addressing this would be your nutrition. So balanced foods, whole foods especially, can really help balance that out. Avoid excessive sugar and refined carbs. Stress management or exercise, especially, can boost your metabolism. Stress management, also medical evaluation. So you can also get some blood work, get some tests done to see where things are at as far as your levels go. Get the CBC, complete blood count, or the CMP, comprehensive metabolic panel. Medication. In some cases, medication may be prescribed for all of these as well. So some symptoms that you might feel, again, it's always good to talk to your doctor about this, but unexplained weight changes, fatigue, mood changes, irregular menstrual cycle for women, changes in libido, digestive issues, skin and hair changes, sleep disturbances, changes in appetite, temperature sensitivity, bone health, right? So hormonal imbalances such as estrogen in menopausal women or low testosterone men can impact bone density and increase risk of osteoporosis. Not good. Thirst, urination, excessive thirst, and frequent urination can be signs of disorders like diabetes. So that one you'll probably have lots of testing done prior to, but it could lead to that. Also for women, could be breast changes in breast size, tenderness, or other things. Heart rate changes and changes in blood pressure, and then vision changes. Blurred vision, other visual disturbances can result from hormonal imbalances, especially when it comes to diabetes. That's more extreme, but it is, preventative. If you do kind of notice those things come up, seek professional help. If persistent weight issues occur, seek professional help and keep seeking out help, because sometimes you may not get the answers that you are looking for or helpful ones. Mood changes, for women, menstrual cycle changes that are irregular, digestive problems, so bloating, constipation, diarrhea, those sorts of things will be a big factor. Sleep disturbances, fertility concerns, family history, if anybody in your family has it, or PCOS, that could be a factor as well. How to seek professional help. So choose a healthcare provider. Your family doctor might be good. They can assess your symptoms and provide initial guidance. If necessary, they can refer you to a specialist. So you can always ask for that as well. Be prepared, make your appointment, list your symptoms, their duration, all the facts to do with it. You want to make sure you have that as a side note, and then make sure you ask a lot of questions. Don't hesitate to ask questions during your appointment. Understand the process, follow the recommendations that they do give you. Consider a second option if you're not satisfied with what they've already said, and then collaborate on treatment with your professional healthcare provider. Actionable tips, so eat whole foods, make sure you're having fiber, enough omega-3 fatty acids. So this will actually help regulate a lot of your blood sugar levels as well, along with sleep, along with health, along with skin, salmon, mackerel, flax seeds, fatty fish, omega-3s, walnuts can help reduce inflammation, control sugar levels, and keep down refined carbs, manage your stress, get adequate sleep, exercise regularly, stay hydrated, healthy fats, limit alcohol and caffeine and all that kind of stuff. Make sure you get a supportive relationship that really wants you to succeed. Diet. Talked a little about that. Healthy fats. Yeah, it's all good. So the holistic thing is basically what you do when you do a holistic approach to it is you address the root cause. It looks beyond just the surface level of your symptoms and it looks at underlying factors contributing to your weight gain. It recognizes that weight issues can be influenced by a combination of physical, emotional, and psychological and lifestyle factors. Sustainable results. Holistic weight loss strategies focus on making lifestyle changes rather than quick fixes. Promotes overall health, which you can sustain for longer. It's a very individualized approach, so it doesn't just give you a cookie cutter program. It's like, here, have this, have fun. Addresses your emotional eating. Focuses on mind-body connection, essentially. Encourages balanced nutrition. You can manage your stress better, and many, many more. Right? Sustainable results is probably the biggest part of that whole thing as well there. So yeah, hopefully that helped. If you have any questions, leave a comment below. You can also reach out to me on Instagram. You can also reach out to me on TikTok, I believe, as well. Leave a comment there if you have any questions about what we talked about today with hormonal health when it comes to weight loss. Okay. Yeah. So any kind of asks or anything you want to have as far as episodes go, please feel free to let me know. I'd be happy to put that on for you and do a little bit of research there for you. So yeah, key takeaways from the episode. Essentially, what we talked here about was the 4 hormones that can influence weight loss or weight gain. And the first one there is going to be insulin. So making sure your blood sugar levels are at a nice leveled pace when you go throughout the day. And then there's going to be leptin. That's going to be the one that keeps you satisfied. Ghrelin, the one that controls your hunger and lets you know when you are hungry. And it can be kind of slow sometimes. It takes about 20 minutes to realize that you're full. Yeah. And then essentially on top of that, there is also cortisol, your stress hormone. Okay. All right. So again, reach out to me on social media. Also, the Fit Up to 30 Facebook group is available for you. Check that out. And also, we are going to be opening the doors for three more people to sign up for the Lean Athlete Blueprint program. This is open to anybody who is just sick of the fad diets, is sick of looking in the mirror and just being disappointed and not really getting to where you want to get to. You don't feel confident, say, with your shirt off or in front of your spouse, or you want to turn heads again. This is going to be a program that's going to really help you with that and keep it off for the long term. This is going to be something that's going to be a more holistic approach and not just here's your diet plan and here's your workout plan. We really want to make sure that this is going to be a long-term thing for you and not a short-term fix, right? So if this is you, then you want to comment below on this somehow and then just write in ready, and then we'll get you into a call and then get you set up for October 1st, the deadline for that. All right. Next topic, we'll find out. I'll be doing it tomorrow. Today's day 26. I love it. We're on day 27 tomorrow. So thanks so much for listening into this. Very, very much appreciate it. These are a little bit longer than I normally do it, but very, very happy. And stay sweaty and stay on track, my fit fam. We'll talk soon.